Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Erica Flynn Walker, and I'm your co-host of the Raymond Hall Show here at Morris Media Live Studios. We'd like to welcome all of our guests and listening audience to our broadcast today. What we like to do is just talk a little bit about the community and have a different conversation about the current trending topics that we are find ourselves in this political climate and just in the world today that we live in. So what I like to say today is welcome to each and every one of you, and we look forward to having this conversation. The song that we opened up with today is a song that is known as our African American national anthem, Lift Every Voice and Sing. It's a song that's very, very dear and very near and dear to me because it's something that belongs to us as a nationality, as a race of people that have experienced a lot of things. So right now, I want you to come with me because I'm feeling a little emotional right now. You have to excuse me. I'm having a moment right now. But I like to, again, invite each and every one of you that may have something to say, you have a comment, to call in so that we can have this different conversation at the Raymond Hall Show. And also, what I like to do is I like to make a correction on something that I said last week on the show when I was speaking about the President Donald Trump, and I said that he was in office for 600 days. That was that was something that was incorrect. It's a little over 6 months that he has been in office, and I just like to make that correction to each and every one of you out there listening right now from my standpoint. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to take a caller. We have someone calling in. Her name is Linda, and she's going to be calling in to have a conversation with us. Linda, are you there?
I'm here.
Good afternoon, and welcome to the Raymond Hall Show. How are you doing this afternoon?
I'm doing fine, and good afternoon to you.
Very good.
I have a question.
Okay, I'd like to listen to your question.
With all of the rallies and the protests against this Obama Appeal Act, I'm noticing that Los Angeles, LA in particular, has been very, very quiet. That alarms me, and I'd like to know what can we do to get us fired up. To stand for nothing is to stand for nothing, and we really need our voices to be heard.
Absolutely. I thank you so much for calling in, Linda, with that comment, because a lot of us right now are wondering that same thing. What I like to say to you right now is the first thing that I like to say to do is grab a pen and paper and write down some information. The information is as follows. Contact your local senator or congressperson by going to Google. And you can Google by using your zip code, and this will give you your local congressperson and senator who represents you in the pod or district or area that you are living in. Once you receive that information, you will receive a number, or you can send an email to them, and you can call the specific congressperson that's representing you, as well as the senator in the zip code that you live in any state across the country that we live in right now today. So what I like to say is that's the first thing that we can do, is let our voices be heard by the people that are representing us.
Thank you so much for that information, and I'm all in.
You're all in. So when you take this information down, Linda, and you decide to contact your council, your congressman, and your senator, what are some of the things that are going to be of your concern when you speak to him, or when you leave this message for the representative?
My concerns are basically, what are we going to do? What are we going to do about this Obama Repeal Act? It seems that we're being kind of left by the wayside here for Trump and his administration. And I would really hate to see thousands, millions of people that have pre-existing conditions, such as myself, not have medical of any kind.
Right, right. Okay, that's a valid concern, Linda, and I really think that a lot of people are there with you with that same concern. So this is why this is one of the very important things that we could do is to know that we have a voice, and each and every one of us listening to the sound of my voice lives in a particular pod, city, town, state, and you have one of the over 400 congressmen that are sitting in there up there in Washington D.C. One of those specific people represent the community that you live in. So it's your responsibility to let them know that you have concerns. Do you agree with that?
I do agree with that, and I'd also like to add, Maxine Waters can't do this by herself. We as blacks, minorities, we need to come together on this. We really need to take this seriously because this could be a do-or-die situation.
Absolutely. And here at the Raymond Hall Show, where service is our conversation, this is basically a service that each and every one of us, as an individual, we pretty much have a responsibility to ourselves, to our neighbors, to our sons, to our daughters, to have service for each other and coming together to talk about an issue that concerns all of us. This is not an isolated incident. These are things that affect a lot of people, and outside of the medical insurance, the Affordable Care Act that we're speaking of, there's several other topics that are on the table now for discussion that we need to have, some type of town hall meeting, in my opinion, or some type of round table or discussions in communities, door by door, table by table, to gather all of our concerns together. What do you think about that, Linda? Do you think we need to come together as a community? Like, we need to be able, in my opinion, to pack out the Rose Bowl the same way that Beyonce and Jay-Z and all of these entertainment people are able to do, to have a conversation about the current state that we're in.
I agree wholeheartedly. And I really think that I have to add this comment as well. I think that if this isn't no reflection against Beyonce. I think she's a great artist.
Yeah, she is. She's absolutely great, and she can pack out the. Oh, finish your comment. What you were saying, Linda.
I feel like if people can pay and travel and sell out the Rose Bowl, I think that people should take time to put the same energy and effort, which is going to cost you nothing.
It's absolutely free.
For this cause, for these causes.
Right, and I mean we're not saying anything negative or derogatory by saying that. I'm not saying it because I'm the person that's standing behind, what I'm saying right now, sitting here on the panel of the Raymond Hall Show. Again, my name is Erica Walker. We have our caller on the line. Her name is Miss Linda, and she has called in to the Raymond Hall Show, where we do have a different conversation with our community, with the veterans, with seniors, with the concerns of the community, and the service that each and every one of us gives to the community. Linda is a person that is in our community, and she has some concerns, and we would like for those concerns to be heard.
Thank you so much for listening, and I will be tuning in on Thursday
from 2 to 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time at Morris Media Live. And you can also follow us on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram at The Raymond Hall Show.
Thank you so much, Erica.
You're welcome.
You guys are doing a wonderful job. Keep it up.
Thanks so much for the call. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
What I like to say is thanks to Miss Linda for calling in. I think that that's a conversation that we can definitely continue on and expound on in the near future. Right now, what we like to do is we like to take a short break, and then we'll be coming right back with you with today's trending topics. And also, we have a guest that will be calling in as well when we return from our break. Thanks a lot, and we'll see you soon from the Raymond Hall Show.
Well, good afternoon, and thank you for tuning in to the Raymond Hall Show. This is Raymond Hall, and here at the Raymond Hall Show, we have a different conversation. I want to say to my equal host here, I always want to thank her for the in-depth research and the hosting job that she does. She does so much. She's out in the community talking to people, and when she said we needed to have a community show, she started something going, and I went out and followed her lead in the community. And there's a lot of anxiety in the community about what's going on in Washington, D.C. So I reached out, and before we bring our guests on, I want to thank Mr. Larry Littleton because he had a hand in making it possible. But our guest that's going to talk to us and kind of help us, because he is a person of the community, is Mr. Michael GUYNN. And I'm going to come back in a second. Ms. Walker is going to introduce our guest, and then we're going to continue with these conversations with Mr. GUYNN and the community.
Hi, how are you doing, everyone? I'm back. This is Erica Flynn Walker. I'm your co-host, and what we will be doing is shortly talking to our guest again. He's going to be having conversations with us. His name is Michael GUYNN, and he is with the community. And we'd like to thank him for his consideration in agreeing to appear as a guest on the Raymond Hall Show, and at such a very short notice.
Yeah. Mr. GUYNN recently ran in the last general election. He ran for the 62nd Assembly general counsel person, but he's been active in the community well before that. The New Frontier Democratic Club, he's a member of that. He's also a board member for the Southwest Neighborhood Council, and that is a part of city government.
Wow.
But one of the things that was really, really impressive, he's the vice chair of the LA chapter of the National Association of Black Social Workers. Mr. GUYNN, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Hello, Mr. GUYNN.
Hello, greetings and salutations.
Greetings and salutations to you.
Well, it is an honor to have you here on the program, and again, thanks again for having
Likewise.
short whiz. So, talk to us about. There's so much anxiety about what's going on. The disconnect, I would call it, between Washington and the community. So what's going on?
First and foremost, there's a perceived reality that we're in a state of chaos. But if you look at our history, we've always had to rely on ourselves, whether the federal government was involved or whether it created pathways, to allow us to create our own reality. But, my sentiment is that what has been done before can be done again. So we need to look back at some of the models that we created, the Black Wall Streets.
Yes.
Tulsa, Oklahoma, places like New Orleans, Midwest, New York. Go back and really study to be a student of history as to how they were able to not only sustain and survive, but also thrive until,
that's a very good point.
Yes.
Right. And so that's one point. Secondly, we have to look at the federal government's objectives. Yes, we're citizens of the United States.
Okay.
And we have every right and privilege to be afforded all opportunities like anyone else. But I think part of it is that there's nothing wrong with this, but sometimes you can get too reliant on the federal government where if they pull their strings, whether it's monetary help or in kind, it kind of leaves us in a bad position. So at this point, not saying chaos is good, but for us it's an opportunity.
Okay.
For us to get together and to carve out more space for our reality, whether they exist or not.
So how do we get the community together to hear the message?
Yes, how do we do that?
I noticed that in your campaign, you had a very progressive campaign, and your message and your the people who were following you, you had a significant following and election base. So in a times like this where everything seemingly is attacked all at one time, how do we get the community together so that progressives like yourself can let the people know we're looking at the wrong thing? We need to be looking at the path that we've always chosen as opposed to the current shiny thing in front of us.
Well, when I ran to become a member of the LA County Democratic Central Committee
Right.
from the 62nd Assembly District, the overall purpose was for me to serve.
Okay.
I've been a social worker for almost 25 years. I come from a family of teachers, other professionals that first and foremost serve the community. But I think one point is that it's a level of transparency.
Okay.
Trust. People at least need to know that they can trust what you're saying
Exactly.
by your actions. Secondly, is continuity. Say what you're gonna do. You're right. It's kind of the back and forth and conjecture, and politics is politics. But when you're dealing with grassroots individuals who want basic services or basic rights or things that enhance their lives, you can't come in with the old dog and pony show.
Right.
Correct.
You got to show the reality.
Correct.
And also show that you're a friend of the community.
Correct.
The community,
You're not some type of scallywag or carpetbag, if you want to call it. And so that's one piece. Secondly, to follow through. A lot of times what we don't do actually is communication to follow through.
Yes.
Well, if we're going to do something, but when somebody holds us accountable, then we get defensive, and then the whole issue or the effort gets dissipated. So first and foremost, I care less about photo shoots, care less about pieces in the newspaper. It's about service.
It's about
And
service.
you meet a person where they're at,
Right.
and then from there, you can help them get what they need. It's not necessarily you doing all the work. You're just going inside and motivating them to evolve to where they need to be at anyway.
Right.
Right.
Well, you just went straight to the heart of
You
the
did.
point with us here, because this show is all about service, and I really want to thank you for that. It seems as if sometimes people have forgotten what has brought us through so very much through in history. It wasn't so much what we have or didn't have.
Right.
It was the fact that so many people were willing to give service. Okay, so now we talked about. Excuse me. We talked about people coming together. It looks like maybe we need to start now working toward that day when we can exercise the rights that we have to votes. How do we keep invigorating the community? How do we keep your message? Yeah, to come together, because that seems to be a lot of what people are frustrated with.
Right. They don't see like the caller before that called in. She was saying that she feels isolation. She feels like we're not together as a group of people. And so how do we change that? Where do we start?
Well, we have to go beyond fish and chicken dinners and get folks to come to events with a turkey and a pie. My thing is, a lot of time our leaders look just like the leaders that we don't need to have in our community. So there's no distinction between the ones that have really not in our community, the ones that are so-called leaders. So what we need to do, going back to our reference, is that when you put new wine in old wine, you know what occurs then. And what I'm saying is, in terms of our new leadership, just be real. Now we know there's political, entanglements that occur, or restrictions, or things that may prevent you from doing all that you can do. But if somebody seeing that you're making an effort and that you're authentic, you get anybody to come together.
Okay.
And what I mean is you can start with the churches.
Start with the
Start with
churches.
the black clubs. You can start with the neighborhood councils. You can start with, even if you want to go to some of the street gangs out there. You know, just because you're in the gang don't mean you're stupid. Just
Okay.
because it doesn't mean you didn't come from a good home.
Right.
You know, you got to look at why they even come together in the first place.
Right.
And then you start there. So there's many things. You know, it's a poor rat that only has one hole to run into. There's always a way to do things. But as long as people feel that, one, they can trust you, and they have another shot of raising their quality of life and coming together as a community.
Because you ran a very successful grassroots campaign in your last campaign. I mean, you obviously had a really strong showing in the election. So a lot of people took paid attention to your message.
They took a good look at you.
Yeah. So how do we continue your message? I mean, the purpose of the Raymond Hall Show is to give a platform so people can talk about service, but not only that, so
they
people
can share
can
the
see.
information and the various services which may be interested, which may be interesting to them as well as you, and bringing us all together, like you were saying. So, what can we do again to carry your platform to the next level?
Well, for one, the Association of Black Social Workers allows us to not only connect with each other, but also advocate for the community in different forms. The neighborhood council as well, dealing with the constituents and their needs, and then also with New Frontier Democratic Club.
Right.
That's another apparatus that we can get out the word.
Okay.
And there's certain issues that we can come around, no matter how people feel about it, and whatever their take is. The LGBT community, immigration, a lot, and from observation, I've heard African Americans talk about not being an issue, but it is.
Right.
If our brothers and sisters are affected, or even in the LGBT community, some that are or have immigration issues that look like us, possibly be deported, families broken up. We can get around the issue of economics, the issue of making sure that all of our children have quality education.
Yes.
And it doesn't have to be with the public or charter schools or our own schools. Come together for making sure that our dollar bill circulates just as much as some of the other cultures.
Okay.
So 8 to 10, 12 times at a time.
Okay.
So we can get around those issues, but we can get away from being selfless.
Yes, because I'm firmly committed to the fact that the power that is vested in Washington D.C. is vested out of communities.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, they don't.
They can't be there without the community.
without the
each and
community.
every one of these constituents.
Right. So the community has to get up and say something to let them know that you just can't do what you want to do, and people are not going to say anything. So I was so very proud of the people that raised their voice when they were voting, and people coming all over the place. We're just going to take a quick break. Mrs. Walker has something to tell you about the new platforms and all of the things that we are involved in for the communications. And Mr. Gwynn, if you'll hold on with us for just a second, and we'll be right back with you. Hold on.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. And you can listen to us and follow us on the Raymond Hall Show at Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. We'll be right back.
And we are back with Mr. Michael Gwynn, and we are fortunate to have him. We are going to have, Mr. Gwynn, we have some people on the other line, and we're going to get them to come in on another line. So we're going to put their question to the air so you can hear their question or comment to the air so all of us can hear it. Is the caller there?
Hello, caller, are you there?
Yes, I am.
So what is your question or comment?
Pardon me?
Your question or comment, caller. We have Mr. Gwynn, Mr. Michael Gwynn, Vice Chair, Greater Los Angeles National Association Black Social Workers on the line with you. So he's in on you. Can you ask your question, please, or make your comment?
Yes. I really just have a comment. He spoke about how the community. I think Mr. Hall spoke about that the community needs to come together, and I think that's what the real issue is. And your guest spoke about churches getting together, we don't have, when you listen to, and I'm just going to put it out there, when you listen to the Caucasian preachers on Sunday, they're talking to their congregation about community stuff. We aren't talking to our congregations about community, going to town hall meetings. We see town hall meetings about health care. You see who's there. We're not there. We need our churches, we need the pastors of these large churches to speak with the community and talk to them about being more proactive about their politics, finding out what the laws are, what they're doing, going out and making sure we're protesting. We need to protest. The health care bill is going to affect the majority of the minority. We need to be at town halls and asking our politicians to do town halls so we can be televised. So all of these things can go forward for us. And my last comment is, who's speaking for the black man? There's no Jesse Jackson. There is no Martin Luther King. We don't, there is nobody standing out as a national leader to even pull us together. And I think that's where we find a lot of the problems in our community. There is no one person we can look to and say, well, we want it. They're telling us how to do things or what we need to do. We're just entirely too fractured.
Well, caller, thank you so very much, and what good points and good observations. Mr. Gwynn.
Yes.
Any comment?
Well, you know what? I think you make an excellent point. We may have to, look at, and this is, it may take some time.
Yes.
We may have to change the narrative of how it's one thing to preach the word out, but it's also, you have the history.
I'm sorry, I'm not. Are you still on?
Yes, he's still there. Can you hear him?
Can you
No,
hear
I
me?
can't hear anything.
Do I need to speak louder?
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. She's
Can you hear me?
yeah, she has to use the headphone. Okay. Go ahead.
Can you hear
Okay.
now, caller?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
And so we may have to consider changing the narrative on Sunday, not just on Sunday.
Okay.
But anyway, that's my comment. I just, again, I want to reiterate. I think some of our biggest issues, there is no national, city, state, community, African American leaders that are standing up for us.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Well, thank you, caller, and go back to listening to how you were listening before. We're going to shut that line off and go to the next caller.
Right. Thank you for calling, caller, and we'll be looking and listening for more callers to call in. Thank you for calling in. Bye.
Go ahead, Mr. Wynn.
Yeah, I just think we need to look at changing the narrative of how we get the word out. We've always had a history of social action.
Correct.
Inside and outside of the church. And so, but we will always be back in the day, we will always be the house of worship has its place. But if you feel like you were a man in regular society when you were segregated, you feel like you were a man and had a position in the church, whether you were usher,
Right.
preacher, you're the serve. And so, yes, there is a crisis, not with black manhood. What it is that, just like in terms of all things, we've had other societal forces that have contributed to the breakup of the family.
Right.
So, I've committed myself as a social worker to start with each individual man at a time. Grouping us together and making a judgment call that can help. And so, it starts with each individual and then the family collectively. And getting both the male and the female to come together, and understanding that we have to do this together. So it's not you and me and the child, it's us.
Right. It's a team effort. It's definitely a team effort.
Well, I think one of the things that we are definitely going to have to do, and Mrs. Walker brought this point up, that we're going to have to make sure that we use all of the technical tools.
Yes.
That's why she's constantly talking about following us on Facebook, and hopefully those people that follow you will follow us as well, and we'll follow you and the activities, because we must share the message that it's vital that we work together. whatever our time or talents are, we must absolutely work together. I commend you for your work through the Democratic Party and the Neighborhood Council and everything else. The Neighborhood Council started out as a grassroots organization. Now it's a part of city government.
Oh, that's
okay.
That's very good information for us to know.
And if you really want to meet your state and national officials, the very first place that I met them was at the New Frontier Democratic Party.
Right.
The Diane Watsons and the Maxine Waters. You were able to get up and ask them questions and be a part of an effective organization. So we have to all come together. Now, do you have any information where people can call or come? What is the next meeting? Like the caller talked about the town hall meetings.
Right.
Where do people even go to get that kind of information?
Right. Now, let me start with the Neighborhood Council.
The Neighborhood Council is where they start.
Okay.
Right. The Southwest Area Neighborhood Council meets every third Monday at the Mark Willie Thomas Constituent Center.
Okay.
Near 84th in Vermont.
Okay.
And we go from 6 to 8.
And that's
and so, we have public officials, we have reports from LAPD, and then we have time when constituents can, kind of share what's doing good, well, and what's not so well.
Okay.
So, they are able to lodge their concerns and issues, and then we will do our best to address them, or at least refer them to somebody who can help deal with that issue.
Okay.
The Association of Black Social Workers meets every second Saturday of the month. We're dark this month, but September we start on, I think, whenever the second Saturday is, from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. We're at 7100 Southwestern Avenue.
Okay.
Okay. So now, what if someone is not in the Los Angeles area? How would they connect with their local National Black Association of?
They can go on the website.
Okay.
www.nabsw.com.
Okay.
And by the way, I'm one of the West Coast liaisons for membership. So they can I can give you you have my email address, but I can repeat it again.
Okay.
They can email me, and I can get them wherever they need to be at. It's
okay.
GUYNN 2001 at yahoo.com.
Okay.
Okay.
And they can email me, and we cover the western portion of the United States, and we're in the midst of a membership drive to generate more chapters, which will in turn provide more assistance and get the word out about what we're discussing today.
Okay, very good.
Now, you can join the organization without being a social worker, or you must be a social worker to join the organization?
No. If you love your community, you can join.
Now, see, that's
It's
the
it started out as social work, but human services personnel, we have nurses, we have other professionals in law enforcement.
Okay.
But if you love your community, you want to help, come on in. We'd love to have you.
Wow.
That's very good.
Really good.
Right. Can you repeat that information one more time, because we had another caller that called in earlier.
Yeah, we have a website, www.nabsw.com.
Okay.
And then as far as primary contact on the West Coast, my email address is GUYNN 2001 at yahoo.com.
Okay. All right.
24 hours a day.
Okay. Well, we definitely want to invite you to come back and be with us again here at the Raymond Hall Show. And we want you to come and let us know what office you're going to take over, because at your next election we're gonna be pushing for Michael Wynn all of the way. We go do what it takes to make sure that the White House might not even see you come. That is Kamala Harris time.
Right.
So
Kamala
you
Harris.
might have to wait a little bit for that one.
I can say the whole name of the book, but who's step out the door, right?
Right.
So
Well, I'll say this: we were at a rally
Yes,
recently.
Harbor UCLA Medical Center, and Kamala Harris was there.
And for the first time, I heard someone say, "There goes our next president." And since then, I've heard that 3 times again. So, I believe in people speaking
Things into existence.
Right. So thank you so very much. So we want to thank you again. I mean, I am just so humbled by the fact that you stopped and rearranged your schedule so you would come and speak to the people in the community. And I would say to the community, while Mr. Gwynn is on the line, don't be discouraged without having a zeal to continue.
Right.
You can't quit, because we've gotten so far, and when Jeff Sessions says, I want to go back to where we are putting people in for the smallest things,
the maximum.
We know what he's talking about. That's code word. We know what they're talking about.
Right.
When somebody says, these people can't do something, we've heard that. We know what they're talking about.
We know what these people means.
Yeah, we know what they're talking about. Miss Walker, she gave you fact. We talked the other day in the pre-show, and I told her, I said, I don't know if you remember Dragnet or not. The man used to say just the facts.
Right, it's just the facts. The facts are the facts.
Yeah, so she deal with the facts. I'm dealing with commentary. I'm just saying what's on my heart. I'm saying this is ridiculous. What's coming out now is absolutely ridiculous. Our children, I'm not advocating for crime, or people should in no way be able to do whatever they want to do against other human beings. But how in the world are you going to sit up and say that somebody needs to be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law, and the White House is running crazy? You're not meeting. You are meeting. There's 2 people in the meeting. There's 9 people in the meeting. We met once. We met 1,000 times. Wasn't no money. It was some money. Lawyers there. Wasn't no lawyers there. I can understand why people getting frustrated.
Right. We're all very frustrated. But I like to wrap it up with something that you said earlier, Mr. Gwynn, which was that we have to take responsibility for ourselves and recognize that it's just time for us to understand that this is an opportunity for us. And it's and I remember you saying that earlier, and that stuck with me, because that's what it is. Everything is not all them. It's we have to right.
Okay.
It's got to be first. I'm humbled and I'm thankful. I woke up this morning with mindset on doing what I'm doing. So if me being a participant in this can help others, that's fine. I'd like a personal note. I'd like to thank NHSW, then also my social club, Brothers in Good Standing. We're doing some things. We're going to try to, on a personal, help those that are homeless and being treated things. I mean, I got about 15 hats.
Right. Now, what is your constituent area? We know that you're in the Southwest, so give us your constituent area before you go.
Let me run it down to one particular group headed by Brother Larry Aubrey, Black Strategic Alternatives. We deal with black leadership in South Central LA. The Subway Coalition, that's a large category of individuals that dealing with both the construction of the subway and gentrification. But our area is mainly south of the 10 and north of the 105, probably west of 110 and east of Crenshaw. But overall, our reach is proliferated by social media, just like you mentioned it. So, I actually went with, this morning when I spoke with you, I got the word out to everyone, to listen in, because people need to know about your show. It ain't about my show. It's about them knowing your show.
Right.
I'll just get it, and so, with that, so now you have to repeat individuals now get the word out about your show, although I'm on it, and I may not film it next week, but they'll tune in and get the word and get the knowledge to continue to do what they're doing. So shout out to all that I passed on, and I once again I thank you. I'm humbled, and I will continue to be on the shoulders of the guys that came before me.
Well, we sure
Thank
do.
you so
Thank you
much.
so much. We're going to wrap it up with these last few moments that we have. Again, we want to thank you. Next week, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be talking to the National Association for Mental Health, NAMI.
NAMI.
Okay.
NAMI will be here next week.
And the executive director, so we'll be able to talk to them.
That'll be August the 3rd. We'd like for each and every one of you to tune in.
Tune in and go to your podcast and everything. It should be something that is going to talk about it. We're going to continue to have these community days, and we're going to work out a way to have the community online so our guests can hear from the community and ask some of the questions. So I think go online and come up with the changes. I think what we may do is change our call-in number, so we'll be able to have a call-in line as well as the guest line and hear from people and that kind of thing. I want to thank Mrs. Erica Flynn Walker. Again, she does so much. She's equal host to this show. She does research before we get on the show. She does schedule and programming. I mean, if I had to list all of the things for the show, I'd have to pay the producer more. I mean, the engineer more money for time.
Right.
I want to thank all of you who do work to provide service. We remember when you look back, Jesus Christ wasn't that old. Dr. King wasn't that old. Malcolm X wasn't that cold.
In the primes of their lives.
When you look at all of the sisters that helped to carry things through, people have given service throughout time, and it's not their money that has us in the position that they've in. It's service. So as they gave service, so service is required of us in our time. And the way we're going to get through these times together is that we look out and provide service. Money has its place. You got to pay your bills. But service is what you give to make sure that the community coming after you is going to be able to do what they need to do because you did what you needed to do. We want to thank those who are serving all across this world in the armed forces of the United States. We want to thank those who are serving here inside of the country. We want to thank those people that are teaching our children, the people that are caring for those who can't care for themselves.
The caregivers, all the caregivers out there, and all the people that are experiencing the respite periods in their life right now. We're praying and we're hoping that you have an opportunity to tune in any way you can by listening to us on Facebook Live or Twitter, Instagram at theRaymondHallShow.com through Morris Media Live.
Big shout out to Morris Media Live because the engineer Felicia, she's second generation.
Yes, she is.
Her father, he continues to be a mentor to me. And we want to give a shout out for Estelle Van Meter because they do so much work in the community with very little. If you got time, if you got a niche for service, then make sure you go to Estelle Van Meter. And we also have a new service provider coming online, the Jurgensen Group. Yes, they're coming online and they'll be providing housing in the community and that kind of thing. So a big thumbs up to the board chair, Miss Ethel Jurgensen, for the work that they're doing. Again, we want to thank you, and we're about time for us to sign off. And
we'd like to invite you again to come to the Raymond Hall Show at 2 to 3 p.m. Standard Time on Thursday at Morris Media Live, to listen to the Raymond Hall Show where we have a different conversation.
Okay. Well, that's all the time that we have. God bless you. Thank you for listening in, and we will see you back here next week.
My name is Erica Flynn Walker. It was fun. Enjoy your day.